next. Behind this reunion selfie lies an untold story of time, fame, loss, and the lasting legacy of Prison Break. There are some television shows built around mystery. Some are built around power. Some are built around family. And then there are shows built around a promise. Prison Break was built around one of the most powerful promises television can make. I will come back for you. That is why the selfie with time idea fits this series so well. Because at its heart, Prison Break is not just about escape. It is about loyalty surviving time, damage, distance, and impossible odds. A younger Michael Scofield still carrying the blueprint in his mind, still believing that intelligence can outmaneuver fate. An older Wentworth Miller standing beside him, carrying the years after the role, the silence after the fever, and the knowledge that some performances never really leave people. A younger Lincoln Burrows still trapped in the machinery of a sentence he does not deserve. An older Dominic Purcell standing next to him with the face of a man who already knows that survival is never clean. That is what makes this franchise emotional now. Not only the breakouts, not only the tattoos, not only the twists, but time. Prison Break premiered on August 29, 2005, ran through 2009, then returned with a fifth season in 2017, for a total of 5 seasons and 90 episodes. Its first season centered on Michael Scofield deliberately getting himself sent to Fox River so he could break out his brother, Lincoln Burrows, who had been sentenced to death for a crime he did not commit. That high-concept setup turned the show into one of the defining network thrillers of its era. It also made an immediate impact in ratings and attention. The series premiere drew about 10.5 million viewers, and Fox quickly expanded the first season to a full order after the strong start. Over time, the show became not just a US hit, but a broad international success as well, with strong runs in countries including France, the UK, Canada, Australia, and Hong Kong. The award story was more modest than the show's cultural impact, but it was real. Prison Break earned Golden Globe nominations for Best Television Series, Drama, and for Wentworth Miller as Best Actor in a Television Series, Drama. The title theme by Ramin Djawadi was nominated for a Primetime Emmy. But numbers and nominations do not explain why the show lasted. What lasted was the energy. The steel doors. The countdown. The maps hidden in skin. The cell block politics. The impossible improvisation. The feeling that every corridor could be an ending or a beginning. Prison Break was never subtle in the way some prestige dramas are subtle. It did not live on quiet glances and literary restraint. It lived on urgency. And that is exactly why people still remember it. Because the show understood that suspense becomes emotional when it is tied to sacrifice. Michael does not just want to outsmart a prison. He wants to save his brother. Lincoln does not just want freedom. He wants his life back. Sucre wants love and home. Sara wants to believe goodness can survive corruption. Mahone becomes unforgettable because pursuit turns into damage. Teabag remains in memory because chaos, once released, rarely disappears. When you place the younger and older cast in the same frame, you see something deeper than nostalgia. You see what the show was really about all along. The cost of carrying people. So what happened to the cast? Who is still active? Who stepped back? And who is no longer here? The broad answer is that much of the central cast is still active, though not in identical ways. A recent People retrospective on the show's 20th anniversary notes that Dominic Purcell, Amaury Nolasco, Sarah Wayne Callies, Paul Adelstein, Peter Stormare, and William Fichtner all continued working in film or television. It also notes that Wentworth Miller shifted more selectively, including writing work and a more deliberate relationship with acting. That distinction matters. Because with Prison Break, the honest story is not everyone disappeared. They did not. It is more accurate to say that careers diverged. Some remained highly visible. Some worked steadily without constant headlines. Some became more selective. Some moved in and out of the mainstream spotlight depending on the project. Wentworth Miller is a particularly important case. In 2020, he said he did not want to return to Prison Break to play straight characters, and the 2026-era reboot now in motion is built without him as Michael Scofield. At the same time, news coverage in 2024 confirmed that Miller and Dominic Purcell were reuniting for another project, Snatchback, which shows that he has not vanished from creative work so much as reshaped it on his own terms. Dominic Purcell, meanwhile, has remained active and visible, including post-Prison Break work in the Arrowverse and newer projects. William Fichtner has also stayed prolific. People notes he is set for another season of Beef. Sarah Wayne Callies remains active and even launched a Prison Break rewatch podcast, which is the kind of detail that tells you the series is still alive in memory, not just an archive. So who really left the stage? Very few of the principal faces did so in a clean, dramatic way. The more truthful version is this. Some slowed down. Some changed lanes. Some became selective. But the core ensemble largely remained part of the screen world. That makes the reunion image less about disappearance and more about endurance. And then comes the harder question. Who has passed away? Among the notable actors connected to Prison Break, the most significant loss is John Hurd, who played Governor Frank Tancredi. He died in 2017 at age 71. His death adds real emotional weight to any remembrance of the show, because his role sits inside one of the story's most human and tragic family dimensions. And once you know that, the selfie with time image changes, because it stops being only clever. It becomes remembrance. The younger self still stands forever inside the original frame. The older self, if still here, becomes witness. And if not, then the image becomes elegy. That matters with Prison Break because this was always a series about time running out. Execution clocks. Escape windows. Temporary alliances. One more hour. One more corridor. One more chance. Time was never background in this story. Time was the enemy. So to look at the cast now is to feel the structure of the series in reverse. Back then they were trying to outrun time. Now, time itself is what makes the reunion emotional. That raises the next question. Has anything surpassed Prison Break? The honest answer is yes and no. If you mean greatest television drama ever made, then no, Prison Break is usually not placed on the same all-time critical tier as The Sopranos, The Wire, Mad Men, or Breaking Bad. It had major strengths, but it is remembered more as a high-impact thriller than as the consensus summit of television art. But if you mean something more specific, pure serialized momentum, mainstream hook, cliffhanger addiction, and the adrenaline of wanting to watch the next episode immediately, then Prison Break absolutely belongs in the conversation. Because Season 1, especially, did something few network dramas have ever done so cleanly. It made architecture emotional. Blueprints became love. Planning became sacrifice. Engineering became devotion. Michael Scofield is one of those rare TV protagonists whose intelligence was not just a personality trait. It was the entire emotional engine of the show. He did not escape because he was lucky. He escaped because he prepared. He observed. He endured pain. He trusted the wrong people sometimes and the right people when it mattered. And above all, he committed. That is why the series still connects. Not because every season is equally strong. That would not be true. The original concept is so explosive that later seasons inevitably changed the formula. Some viewers prefer only the Fox River material. Others enjoy the larger conspiracy and the expansion into Sona, the company, and the 2017 return. Even people who love the show usually admit that its most iconic power lives in the original breakout architecture of the first run. And that is fine. A show does not have to be flawless to be lasting. In fact, Prison Break may survive precisely because it understood its own emotional simplicity underneath the twists. Love can make people do impossible things. That is the core value of Prison Break. Not crime, not violence, not conspiracy, commitment. The show says that loyalty is not abstract. It is logistical. It is painful. It is exhausting. It is often irrational. And when it is real, it becomes action. Michael acts. Lincoln endures. Sara risks. Sucre stays loyal. Even characters like Mahone and Kellerman become compelling because somewhere under the machinery of pursuit and betrayal, the series keeps asking one question. Who will you become when someone you love is trapped? That is why the older and younger self-image works so powerfully here. The younger Michael still believes the plan can control everything. The older version knows every plan costs blood. The younger Lincoln still lives inside accusation. The older version knows survival changes the body too. The younger Sara still thinks compassion can remain separate from danger. The older version knows love and danger became the same road. That is not just nostalgia. That is the series finally revealing its emotional truth. And maybe that is why Prison Break still has such a grip on people, even now. Because beneath all the escapes, betrayals, hidden files, coded clues, and impossible reversals, it offered something very clear. A brother who would walk into hell with a map, rather than stand outside and call it fate. That kind of promise never really gets old. It may not make Prison Break the most decorated show. It may not make it the most critically untouchable. But it does make it memorable in a very deep way. And the franchise is not entirely over, either. A new Hulu reboot in the same universe is officially moving forward, with a new cast and storyline. That does not replace the original. But it proves something important. The core idea of Prison Break still has life in it. So when your video puts the younger and older cast together, the image says more than then and now. It says, here is the face before the breakout. Here is the face after the years. Here is what television kept. Here is what time changed. Here is what loyalty looked like when it was still urgent. And here is what memory does to urgency once it becomes history. That is why Prison Break still works in this format. Because no matter how many walls the story crossed, it was always about one thing. Not leaving someone behind. 3 open-ended questions for the audience. When you think about Prison Break today, which character changed the most in your eyes? Michael, Lincoln, Sara, Sucre, Mahone, or someone else? Which selfie with time reunion would hit you the hardest in Prison Break, and why? Do you think any series has truly surpassed Prison Break in pure escape thriller tension, or does Season 1 still stand on its own level?